Max Ralph, 34-0 was the final score. Penn State, it made it look easy. It wasn't easy. It was like 10-0 at halftime. Not good on third down. Not good on fourth down. But the defense played great. Drew had one of his more uneven games against a team that he should have probably handled, and he even acknowledged that. But, you know, the longer the game went, just their depth and what they can do defensively, Florida International deserved probably better fate than 34-0. But I think if you looked at the score and didn't watch the game, you think this was just a mismatch, and it really wasn't.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. I do think this FIU team in the Conference USA might have some juice this year, but it's not exactly an excuse. Penn State is significantly better, and I do think the fact that the final score ended up being 34-0 like that is a testament to the floor of this Penn State team. The ceiling's much higher, but this was not a good performance, especially offensively. Like you said, 3 for 12, I think, on third down, 2 for 4 on fourth. Drew Aller missed a lot of throws we're used to him making.
Yes,
he didn't. He didn't get anybody open with his throws either, which is something he's been pretty good at doing over the past year or so. It's just not good enough. It is a win, though, and that's an important thing to remember.
What do you make of James Franklin's Dan Campbell impersonation this year? Because Dan cost himself and the Lions dearly 2 years ago with his fourth down decisions. I mean, they didn't. I don't think they punted for the first time until the third quarter, and they just went for everything on fourth down.
I mean, I think the situations were friendly to going for it on fourth down, though. I mean, it was 4th and 5 or shorter every single time in plus territory, especially when you consider the fact that they weren't able to finish drives from inside the 20 last week after a couple of turnovers and a kick return. I understand why you want to try and do it with your offense. You need those reps. But the problem is they still didn't get it done. I mean, they didn't finish those drives today. The offensive line still needs to get better. I think Nick Singleton left a lot of yards on the table today.
He did.
A couple of runs he could have bounced outside that he didn't. A couple of holes he missed. Katron Allen did not. He had a nice day, in my opinion, especially with that late run. But like you said, like we've said overall, it just was not good enough.
So Penn State's 2-0. They went to the semifinals last year. They won 13 games. They brought all this talent, returning talent back. But there are 2 players on this team that no one really knew that they were going to be on this team, that right now, after 2 games, I think we're both ready to say they are going to have a hand in their success down the line if they're going to get back into the playoffs and make a run. One is a freshman, and one is a speedy wideout who played last year at Troy. Chaz Coleman, to not enroll early and to do what he's doing is just incredible. And then Devontae Ross, you can just see a one-handed catch, a contested catch, drew pass interference. I don't think it was the greatest throw that Drew. He kind of just made a play, and I do think as he gets healthier, he's going to be a guy that really adds a dimension to the offense.
Yeah, James Franklin said they weren't even necessarily expecting him to play until Oregon week after he got banged up in camp over the summer. But yeah, he made some really big plays today. That catch was unbelievable through contact. I think the part of his game that we're not talking about enough is the punt return. Penn State was abysmal in special teams returns last year. Already they have 73 yards on a kick return from King Mack. They got 17 on a punt return from Devontae Ross today. Makes a huge difference in the drive start battle. As soon as that offense starts to figure it out, that's going to make a huge difference.
All right, Max. They got Villanova next week at home. That should be probably worse than this one. What do you need? What do you need to see from Penn State that we haven't seen yet against Villanova? Because after that, it's the bye week, and then Oregon's coming.
Well, you might remember, some fans might remember, the last time Villanova came to Beaver Stadium.
They squelched the run game.
There were only 82 yards on the ground, and Penn State's run game was better today. Huge Katron Allen run helped that. Katron also had a 20-yarder. Nick Singleton had a 16-yarder. It was better. It needs to be consistent. They need to dominate third downs and score more touchdowns. They're scoring points. They got field goals again today. There have to be more touchdowns.
And a bonus question, because I like to put you on the spot. What do you need to say? What do you need to see from Joe Hermit next week against Villanova? He's shooting this video. Don't be afraid to hurt his feelings.
I just think Joe needs to stay consistent. He needs to go 1-0 next week on the sidelines. That's what I expect out of him.
And he's going to root for the Miami Dolphins on Sunday, but we're not going to go there.
Go Phillies.
Okay.